Kojima broke my brain on multiple occasions, and those memories are very, very potent in my visual head cup. I remember very vividly being shocked and stuck during these times, like to the point where I stopped playing and become frozen in awe. So I'm gonna go over those top 3 moments, and please put your moments when Kojima broke your brain in the comment section below. Yeah. So the first time Kojima broke my brain was way back in the 90s on the PS1. Metal Gear Solid, the first game, the original one to be precise. It was not the original because the original one was on the NES. This was the first 3D one, or the first one that I had actual experience with. Okay, so there's a part in the game where Chapel gives you the direction to look for a comrade's codex number. Her name is Meryl. And instead of telling you the numbers, he directs you to look at the back of the CD case. He literally says, look at the back of the CD case for Meryl's number.
In any case, you should contact Meryl by codec. Wasn't her frequency written on the back of the CD
Back
case?
then, the internet did not exist. You couldn't just, hey Siri, what's Meryl's number? Oh, she actually, hey Siri, oops. Yeah, back then you didn't have internet access. You barely had access to the information within games via gaming magazines. Those things were rare to me, right? So I and my brother and I were stuck. We became stuck. After foaming at the mouth to play this game, we finally got our hands on a copy because back then we were too poor to buy the games new. So we had to source it from other kids at the school. So we were stuck for probably around 2 weeks. And one day I just decided, you know what, no matter what, tonight I'm gonna figure it out. And I failed. I failed miserably. So it was just a random day. We started playing Metal Gear again. And we kept thinking over and over like, okay, the number must be on a CD case inside the game, not in Kojima's game. Kojima directly referenced the back of the physical CD case that the game came in. It really, really shocked us, like really shocked us. The only way we were able to procure the damn numbers was from the actual CD case, which we fortunately had, because we actually did have the CD case. But yeah, it's I don't even remember if we actually borrowed it or we got it from like Funkoland or something. I don't even remember how we actually got Metal Gear, but I do remember that feeling of figuring out that this guy just really punched me in the face and broke the fourth wall. The second time Kojima broke my brain was actually in a more recent game. I mean, more recent for me is 10 years ago. So yeah, it's a long time. And I actually need to replay this game. That game is none other than Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. Now, this game, again, was a decisive game. You had old school Metal Gear fans that didn't quite like it. It had a different voice actor. David Hayter wasn't there anymore. And it was this new guy from Hollywood. I don't really know Hollywood stars, but you know, the guy from 24. Anyway, I thought he did a good job. And I really enjoyed the game. And yes, the game had some developmental issues because of Kojima and the Konami drama, right? But that's beside the point. I really enjoyed myself with that game in particular. Metal Gear Solid 5, to me, met the expectations that I wanted. Before playing Phantom Pain, I actually played Peace Walker and Ground Zeroes. So the lead up, the pressure to deliver was on Kojima's neck. But he delivered. And the thing that broke my mind in that game was the whole time I'm thinking, all right, we're soldiers, man. What we do is brutal. We cannot be out here tranquilizing people. That is some sissy shit. We don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? We got ammunition for a reason. So, upon my dismay, right? Kojima did something that I wasn't expecting. Now, when you start Metal Gear 5 Phantom Pain, the Phantom Pain, you're in a hospital bed, there's this procedure and all this other stuff. And so it's kind of weird, right? Like you make your own character and then, you kind of go on to play as Snake. And I'm not even going to spoil Metal Gear, the Phantom Pain, but those of you who know the game know why that procedure took place. Now, the whole time you're playing as Snake, a little black thing, like a black stone, starts to form on the side of your forehead. Now, me, like I said, we are soldiers with ammunition. So when we go after enemies, we make sure they do not survive. But what the game doesn't tell you is over the course of the game, just like Pinocchio line, each time you offed a soldier, that little rock, that horn, started to protrude more and more and more. By the time I finished that game, right, thinking that the whole time this was something to do with the story, there's something going on, that's why the procedure happened, blah, 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 blah. No, it was the goddamn karma growing on your damn face. It was great. It was great. I had no idea. The more people I was taking out with real live ammunition is the more the horn kept growing and growing and growing. I thought it was so dope. Even though I think there's a way to cosmetically remove it in the game, it really hit deep because I've never really seen that in a game. The manifestation of the bullshit you've been doing to these so-called enemy soldiers, right? It comes through literally physically on your face. And I think that's just excellent. Along with a bunch of other twists in the Phantom Pain. Like the endings. Oof. But anyway. And here we are. The number one moments that I recall in my long history of playing video games where Kojima broke my brain. And it goes back to Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation 1 once again. So in Metal Gear, one of the things that I love the most about Kojima's game design is actually the bosses. The bosses are so unique, not in their design necessarily, which is also unique, but the way you defeat them. So Metal Gear, as I said previously, Metal Gear Solid 1 was the game that kind of shook me a little bit because of the Meryl CD case thing. So at this point, I was kind of like, okay, anything can happen. Until I came across a boss that was quite weird. This guy came out skinny, looking like sweaty licorice, twisting around and floating. And to top it off, this man has on a big ass gas mask looking thing, right? So I just thought he was like some weird, creepy ass, like just some weird dude, he looked weird. So he comes on, he starts talking all this shit. I'm this and I'm that. You will never defeat me, Snake. And back then, the animations on the face weren't as like, it wasn't as nice as what we have now, right? But because the voice acting was done so well, you get the sense that this guy was probably talking bullshit. Like, he has on a damn spandex leather suit. How bad can this floating asshole be, right? But little to my dismay, I started fighting this guy. And for some reason, every move that I did, he did. And I couldn't beat him. I didn't know. I didn't know what I was doing. And at some point, this guy goes. Because back then, it wasn't like how it is now. Like, so much is lost with the old school gaming. You had to save your game progress on a little stupid ass card called a memory card that sometimes wouldn't even work. Like the third party ones, I've lost so many game saves because of this. You go and your mom's just like, I'm not paying whatever X amount of dollars for that. You know, it's just memories for your stupid video games. So you have to get like the third party, and it wasn't as nice. But anyway, Psycho Mantis, right? Who I later learned was actually a real psychic in a gaming sense. This guy went on to read the information on my memory card and read my moves. Now, I think you can beat this guy if you left your setup, because back then we had wired controllers and you had to actually plug the shit into the console, right? You would have a very hard time defeating him if you didn't remove your first player controller, right, from the first port to the second port. That was a way of beating Psycho Mantis. That blew my mind. Till this day, I always bring up that story with my homie Nemesis. I ask him. He'll be in the comment section. Ask him. That is one of the most amazing fourth wall breaks I've ever experienced in my entire life, whether it be books, movies, comics, video games, music, anything. That fourth wall break punched me in the teeth so hard that it made me question reality, right? Because I used to think like, okay, yeah, video game is just something that you just play for fun, right? But not Metal Gear. Metal Gear Solid was like, man, I had to like figure out like, why am I playing this? Like, you know, why am I playing this and how am I going to play this? It was just brilliant. It was just brilliant. So we're here in 2025 now, and this guy and his team has released Death Stranding 2. Can't stop thinking about it, man. My most previous video that I recorded right before this one was about -61 and how the song fits the design of the game so well that I can't get it out of my head. So I say all that to say this. If you ever get the chance to play Metal Gear, I really hope they remake all of them. To be honest, I know Kojima won't have a hand in it because he's not at Konami anymore. But I hope in my lifetime that they remake all of them so I can experience all of them. And those are just my top 3 brain-breaking moments. There are tons on tons of just really great narrative fourth wall breaks that Kojima does throughout all his games. Even in Death Stranding, he does it. I've not seen anyone else replicate this guy's game design when it comes to breaking the fourth wall and just having creative game design. The only person I can think of close is probably Miyamoto, because I really like his game design stuff too. I think it's fascinating. But Kojima, for me, I mean, he's on top. He's on top for real. Like, and the weird part is, Metal Gear Solid is not even my most favorite gaming series. It's actually Mass Effect. But when it comes to the sheer design, it's very hard for me to put someone above Hideo Kojima. It's very hard. And I know people are like, oh, this man's a Sony pony. I don't deal with none of that console bullshit. I got everything. I got the Switch, Xbox, the PC. I got everything. I don't care. But I have to give flowers where flowers are deserved. And I would like to give my flowers to Kojima while I'm alive and well. So anyway, for those of you who have no idea who I am, my name is Jabulani Ori. I am a lifelong artist and a lifelong gamer who is still practicing making work from my conceptual head cup. And I love doing it. So just like Death Stranding, each piece is a journey. Each piece has the packages it has to deliver from my mind to you, the viewer. So if you wouldn't mind heading over to my website and just have a gander at my work, that would be greatly appreciated. That is a thumbs up, a like, as Death Stranding would put it. If you like to see my work, head over to my website, jahbu.com, and have a look. I have over 30 paintings on there and more on the way. If you are on social media, you can simply follow me at JAHBU_art. I am on Instagram and TikTok as well. Until next time, my wonderful, beautiful people, keep porting, keep delivering in life, keep the adventure going. You got another day, you can blink another moment. That's what life is about. -61. One love. Peace.